Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be going over time lapses. So I'm going to show you the process of what I do from taking the pictures all the way to rendering the video. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. I'm just going to show you my process. It's the fastest way I've kind of found to do it, and just the easiest. So first, what we're going to do is start in Lightroom. You don't have to, but I shoot raw, so I have to bring it in and edit it somewhere. So Lightroom is the best option for me because I can edit one photo and then just apply it to the rest and export them out. So I find that pretty easy to do as opposed to Photoshop setting up like a whole automated thing to do a batch edit. So what we're going to do here is just go ahead and import our photos. I'm just going to find them. Okay, and then we're going to click on the folder. Actually, I have a couple in here, so I have already edited them, but I'm just going to show you what I do. So I go to my raw folder here. These are the raw files. And then once they're imported here, we're going to go over to develop. Okay, now that we have them imported, so I'm just going to start with this one. It doesn't really matter what frame. So what I like to do is just bring down the contrast, usually bring down the highlights, but more so the whites, and then I will adjust the highlights after. Bringing the shadows up, I'm just trying to get a very flat photo going here, and then I'm going to take down the clarity just a little bit, just to make it a little bit softer, and turning up the texture to keep the sharpness, and then a little bit of dehazing. I'm going to up the saturation here. I don't like the red so much, so we're gonna keep scrolling down. So also the reason why I want to get it so flat here is so I can bring it to the curves and then I can adjust the way I like. So you don't have to follow this. This is just generally how I like to end up editing the majority of my photos for that baseline edit, and then just kind of moving on from there. So because there is a lot of shadows in this one, I probably will keep the shadows to a minimum, and I might actually turn the highlights back up to see how that is. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I actually think I'm going to bring down the tint here. I think that's what's putting so much red into it. I am going to use a profile correction. My scrolling on my mouse is not working. And then usually it has my recorded lens there, so it just puts that information in and fixes it. I think we missed one. Alright, the hue and saturation. So I'm going to turn down that red because I don't want it so much. I guess it's actually orange. So we're actually going to just turn down the luminance on the orange a little bit. And we could even try shifting it a little bit. I kind of like that. It's more balanced. I like bringing out the yellows in the greens, so I do like pumping up the saturation for that, but maybe we'll just turn down the luminance on the green and bring up the yellow. And then for the blue here, I'm going to bring down the luminance a little bit. I'm going to shift the aqua a little bit and then shift the blue more towards aqua. And then bring up the saturation. Actually, that might be a little too much, so I'm gonna leave it where it is. I'm happy with that. So this, as you'll see in the next, once we import it, I've already edited this. It's gonna look a little different in this edit. It is definitely more of a flat image and more shifted towards yellow greens and teal here. But it's just whatever colors you like. This I like, but I also like the other one. But anyway, once we get the color correction that you want, make sure that the first frame or whichever one you edit is selected. Press Control A, and that will highlight every frame. And then we're just going to hit sync here. And make sure everything is selected. Usually the lens correction isn't check marked. If you do that, make sure you select it. And then any other effect that you've done, all the basic stuff should be there. I just know the lens correction isn't there, usually selected. So then once we do that, let's just hit synchronize. And then you can see up here in the left hand corner, it's going to paste them out. And then once those are all done, we're going to bring it over to Premiere. if you are using Lightroom, once you export your photos, I do suggest that you exit out of Lightroom, because I do find it throttles your computer a lot. Maybe that's just my system, but I have found that Lightroom does tend to slow down my whole operating system when I have it open. So I like to close it down just to use the maximum GPU and CPU that I can for my computer within Premiere, and not dispersing it across the Adobe programs.